Wisconsin at Ohio State, Maryland at Michigan, Clemson at Wake Forest, K-State at Oklahoma, USC at Oregon State, and Arkansas versus Texas A&M in Arlington at AT&T Stadium at Jerry's World. Really good games, by the way. And I'm stoked for these. And you should be as well, because I think that we're finally going to see some of these teams tested. Michigan, looking at you. Michigan's non-conference opponents, by the way, so far, cumulative 0-9 this year. So what do we know about Michigan? Not much. Let's start with that game. Michigan hosting Maryland. My thoughts on this game are, I want to see how Michigan deals with adversity. Blake Corum yesterday in his press conference talked about the fact that he doesn't know how good his team is, in part because they haven't faced adversity. You don't know as a team what you're going to be until you face adversity. And Michigan has not faced that yet. They've won every single one of these games by 50-plus points. They've scored over 50. Now, they're doing what they should do, and I talked about this on Wednesday's episode. It's showing me some maturity. It's showing me that they know how to handle their business. But what is it showing me on the field remains to be seen. In fact, there's some major question marks. The biggest question mark I have for Michigan is about their defense. How are they replacing those great players that they had a year ago? How are they replacing their coordinator, Mike McDonald, from a year ago? So far, it's been good. But listen, what do we draw from Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn? Virtually nothing. Their defense is built for production tackles and then the ability of the secondary to tackle in space and to cover well, because at times they're going to be left on an island. So that's what they're going to be tested with this week. I firmly believe that their defense is going to be put into a position where they feel and are stressed for the first time this year. And I can't wait to see that happen, to see them have to deal with that. Can you present pressure on the quarterback when you have to? Not just because every snap we're going to get back there. No. It's a big snap. Crowd's into it. Can you get pressure on Tagovailoa? We'll see. Because they don't have the individual pass rusher that we saw last year in Aiden Hutchinson, or even his counterpart on the other side of the line of scrimmage, David Ajabo, I guess the other side of the line from him. They don't have those guys. They feel like they have a core that is good and can replace the production. Not that any one player is as good, but that they can replace the production. Remember, 14 players so far for Michigan have what I would call production tackles. That's either tackles for loss or sacks. I do know that their offense is going to be good. Their offense is going to put up points. There's a reason that they're 17-point favorites according to Fox Bet, and I think that they should be, because their offense is really good. I can't wait to see them actually feel some stress and pressure on that side of the ball as well. A big third down. How does McCarthy react to some pressure in his face? Is he going to put the ball in harm's way? Because that's one thing that McNamara didn't do a year ago. But the questions really remain on the defensive side. They're going to face a team this week in Maryland that will pressure their secondary. Maryland has one of the best core of wide receivers in all of college football, and it goes very much under the radar. Remember Dante Demas, he got hurt last year. I think he only played in 4 or 5 games. I think he got hurt in that Iowa game, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a horrific injury, and you hated to see it because he's such a good player. And in fact, he was doing incredible work last year up until the point that he got hurt. Now he's back and he's healthy. So what is he? Now, Jayshon Jones stepped up and played well for a couple games. He went down last year. Now he's back. So he only played in 6 games a year ago. The guy that in their absence stepped up and played well and became kind of their number one wide receiver is Rakim Jarrett. Then they got a transfer as well, Jacob Copeland. They go 4 deep in what a lot of programs would call number 1 wide receivers, or at worst number 2 wide receivers. I think Dante Demas is a number 1 wide receiver everywhere other than about 4 or 5 places in the country. And now he's back. And so all of a sudden you've got 4 legitimate threats on the outside for Maryland. You've got a quarterback that can pull the trigger. You've got an offense that understands how to move the football with a good offensive-oriented head coach in Mike Loxley. So now Michigan's defense will be stressed, and the people that will be stressed we have never seen in this position, namely, and this is the name that you got to look out for this weekend, folks, Mike Sainristil. Mike Sainristil was a wide receiver last year, and now he's filling in at Dax Hill's spot. Dax Hill was a draft pick, a nickelback. He was terrific in space in the slot as a man-to-man cover guy. Now, I've talked with a lot of people around the program this week, and they tell me Mike Sainristil has acquitted himself unbelievably well for a guy that just changed positions. I can't wait to see him because this is going to be real stress and real pressure. So what is Michigan? We're going to find out noon Saturday. Gus, Ginny, and I will be there. Big Noon Kickoff will be there. Michigan, 17-point favorites. And for the first time this season, we're going to see what they actually are.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.